mess with this. That happened. So, do it real gentle. There we go. All right, thank you, Kate. Appreciate that. Last spring, I made a point to visit all your schools, and I spoke with scores of staff members, and I collected hundreds of comments. Your feedback was instrumental. Some of it was encouraging and positive, and some of it was not, but we needed to hear it. So with that feedback, we hope to come back this year with clarity, with aligned goals and clear vision. We revised the strategic plan. I would call this an evolution of the previous plan. I don't want it to be a revolution in a new plan. That old plan was good, it was comprehensive, but in a lot of ways it was hard to follow. So we've got an evolved strategic plan. There were some structural changes in that plan, but I don't want to get into those today. The important point to share with you today are the 3 priorities in the new plan. And I use the word priorities. That's new in our strategic plan. We have not prioritized elements, but this year we have. We've picked out 3 areas that we think we need to focus on as a district, and I want to share those with you as part of my goal to provide clear vision. I'm going to start with equity. Equity as the #1 goal. You may have heard me mention before that we have to Maslow before we bloom. That's an homage to the educational psychology theories of Abraham Maslow and Benjamin Bloom. And I'm going to give you a little history on those guys, since at heart, I'm a history teacher, so I get to kind of go back and be my history teacher self for a moment. Abraham Maslow developed what he called a hierarchy of needs. In his hierarchy, he had a base level that said that humans need to be secured, they need to be fed, they need to be sheltered. And once you have those pieces in place, then a human can move on to creating relationships, friendships, and belonging. And after those levels are established, then a human can start to move on and really focus on self-actualization or greatness, how to make themselves the best they can be. But they can't do that unless all those other layers are in place first. So that's Abraham Maslow. Let's now talk about Benjamin Bloom. I should have asked if anybody knew his first name, extra credit. Benjamin Bloom. So there's what Ben says. Ben created what's called the taxonomy, Bloom's taxonomy. And when I first heard that in teacher college, I'm like, this guy, he was a taxidermy guy? I don't get it. What is a taxonomy? And then I realized it's just a way to classify. So what Bloom did is he classified levels of thinking. At the base level of thinking are memorization, learning facts, regurgitating facts. Pretty simple. At the next highest level, you move up to application and analysis. You start to use those ideas and those facts. And ultimately, in his highest level, and this is the level that we were always told in teacher college to strive for in our lessons, is evaluation and creation. How to build something new and exciting out of these facts and theories. Now, Maslow and Bloom never hung out. Okay, they never Google grouped and traded ideas. So why do I blend these 2 guys together? I bring them together because I think that the juxtaposition of these 2 best explains my idea about hearts and minds. We have to say that we Maslow before we bloom, because we have to make sure that basic needs of security and respect and belonging are in place before we can ever concern ourselves with the levels of thinking. I place equity as the priority because it serves as the foundation. I think that this perspective is more relevant today than it has ever been. And I know this probably sounds trite because I remember my own parents telling me that, oh, your generation with your television and with your rock and roll and your MTV, and they thought that I was going to be a total failure, live in a van down by the river. But I do think that there's a fundamental shift happening in our society that we need to be aware of. We talk a lot about being connected, and we refer to Wi-Fi, right? If you don't have Wi-Fi, we're going to lose our minds. We talk about social media, but I think what we've observed in our classrooms are students that are increasingly disconnected from healthy emotional interactions, who are lonely, fearful, and craving genuine human interaction. Today's students have grown up in a society where bullying can occur with instant and anonymous ferocity. Our students are growing up in a world where vicious tweets are commonplace, and social media has been politicized and weaponized. Their most vulnerable years are stained with insults and images that erode confidence and true social connection. We have to remember that every student in our schools today was born after Qualman. They've grown up practicing active shooter drills. They're the first lockdown generation. Last year, they witnessed 300,000 students in the Denver metro area get a day off from school for a possible school shooter. Not a snow day, a school shooter day. Mass shootings now come in pairs, and ICE raids are real. This environment breeds fear. It's hard to find any previous generation that's had to face such obstacles. And fear is a primal response, and that response comes with a host of psychological and physiological effects. Have you ever had to comfort a scared student during a lockdown drill? Have you ever had to choke back tears during a lockdown drill? Because your own kid was also in school somewhere? Fear and trauma have changed the culture of school, and we can't take that lightly. Not for our students, and not for us. Now, it's important, more important than ever, that we accept our role and the role of schools in creating a more civil, respectful, and compassionate society. We have the ability, and I dare say we have the responsibility, to be more inclusive and more respectful in our classrooms and our schools. We have a lot to overcome, but we're the ones to make the difference. I taught high school civics and history for 8 years. I know how it feels to be passionate about my content. I wanted so badly for my kids to get excited about a really cool gerrymander. I wanted them to get pumped up about a compelling dissenting opinion from a Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. But it didn't always happen. Sometimes I had to accept that my students really needed a secure environment where they felt safe and respected. They needed somebody to treat them with kindness and show them that I had faith in their ability. It was a compassionate principal, actually, who spoke to me when I was frustrated at one point. I couldn't understand why the kids weren't getting really excited about a primary source exercise that I had spent all week planning. I was super pumped about this. No, you can take it or leave it. And the principal said to me, Phil, if the content that you're presenting isn't connecting with the kids, it's probably because you haven't taken the time to connect with the kids. He said, you don't teach history and civics, you teach kids. So get to know your kids, and when they know you, and they know that you care about them, they'll start to care about what you're doing. At first I was like, I couldn't let go of the primary source documents that I had struggled to find, but I took the time. I went back and just had some conversations with the kids and got to know them, and he was right, and that's been a powerful influence that has guided my career. So our focus on equity, ensuring that Maslow's hierarchy of needs nurtures the hearts of our students, is essential before we can start to inspire their minds. And that leads me to the second priority of the plan, systems of support. I believe that equity and systems of support are symbiotic. We can't do one without the other. The focus on equity means that we're adopting a new lens. We're adopting a new reality through which we view everything that we do. Does every task, every course offering, every assembly, every letter home, and every field trip, every consequence help or harm a student's sense of belonging? This has to be a constant, vigilant awareness. And here's the connection. With that awareness comes empathy and patience. And with that empathy and patience, we're able to apply the systems of support. We can recognize the real reason why a student is falling behind, instead of making some assumption that's outside of the equity lens. I believe that every student is capable of learning, and I believe that every student deserves a shot at excellence. So the system of support, it's really very simple. It's just a matter of identifying low achievement, identify the root cause, and provide immediate support. That's all it is. And I've been doing this long enough to get lost in the acronyms, to get frustrated with RTI is response to instruction. Oh, wait. No, it's response to intervention. Sorry, it's just break your chimes. They're okay. But I'm going to set them back here. So they're okay. They're okay. They're really cool chimes. So yeah, otherwise, I was getting frustrated with RTI. Okay, so response to instruction, and then like the next year it was response to intervention, or did I get that backwards? Backwards. And then the next year it was MTSS. So after like 3 years of changing it on me, I'm checked out. I mean, come on, man. Like at least decide a name, and then I can learn it. But I want to walk away from all that for a minute. Let's put the acronym frustration aside and just recognize it's just a system of support. That's all we're trying to do, is develop a system of supports. And I know that your schools have these in place. I've seen them in action. But I also know that they're at very different levels of effectiveness, and everybody does it differently. So what we're trying to do with this priority in the district is make a system. That's a capital S, a system of supports that's more responsive, more consistent, and improves success for kids across the district. If you get a chance to look at that strategic plan, you're going to see the systems of support in there 2 times. It's so important that we've listed it twice. The first time that you'll see it is for teachers to use that system in their classroom, to recognize when kids need help, find the root cause, and apply the solution. The second place that you'll see that in the strategic plan is for us, for the district leadership team, because teachers can't implement a consistent, effective system if it doesn't exist. So we're going to try to work on building that. We're going to try to make that easy for you. Making that a priority only works if we work together. So that's our goal. The third and final priority that I want to review today is school improvement plans. They've never been specifically mentioned in the strategic plan. I don't understand how, as a district, we expected schools to improve when your own plans were not valued in the driving document, but they are now. Not only are they mentioned in the plan, but they're set as a priority. We understand that individual school plans are powerful, and they're specific to the needs of your students and specific to the skill set of your staff. So what you're going to find is that the district office this year is going to try to customize our support to your needs. We'll be promoting equity, we'll be promoting systems of support, but we're also going to study your plans. We're going to understand what the strengths are of your school, what your needs are, and try to make sure that we come to you without an agenda. We come to you to address the needs that you've identified as a school. What we're trying to do in Eagle County Schools is create a district where schools can be proud of their unique character. We're trying to create a district where all employees feel valued and respected. We're trying to demonstrate that the district office can model a growth mindset and be the first to change. We're trying to create a work environment where people feel safe to voice opinions and seek support without judgment. To do this, I'm going to need to ask you for 3 things. I need your help this year. I need you to do 3 things. The first thing is, I need you to be open to our change as district leadership. I need you to give us a chance to show a new model of responsive leadership and service-oriented district support. The second thing I need you to do is take care of each other. We have hard jobs. They're emotionally taxing and physically taxing. So I need you to model kindness, respect, and collaboration for your peers. And when your students see that and your colleagues see that, it becomes a more caring place to work. And the last thing I need you to do is take care of yourself. Be mindful of your own health, physically and emotionally. take time for yourself if you need it, and feed your soul. Enjoy the beauty and the opportunity that surrounds us. We pay quite a tax to live here, so you might as well take advantage of it. You can't take care of your job if you aren't first taking care of yourself. If we do this, we can make Eagle County Schools a district where students are excited to go to school, where parents are proud to send their kids, and where we wake up every morning excited to do this challenging and rewarding work. Thank you for all you do for our kids.